What's this Afton Bain ad?
I'm Afton Bain. We all know the system is rigged in Washington. Here's how it works. Politicians make it easy for their rich donors, tax cuts for billionaires, and burying the Epstein files, while hardworking Tennesseans get a rough ride by cutting health care for Tennessee families, doubling health insurance premiums, and tariffs that hurt our economy. I'm Afton Bain, and I approve this message. Vote early to shake up Washington.
That's really good. Actually, that's really good. That's a memorable ad. It's goofy. It's goofy enough. I think. Listen, I'm not a Tennessean, but I think that'll play well. You know, her odds are slim, but we're rooting for her. Even an overperformance relative to expectations, that would be pretty good. They don't do bull rides in Tennessee. They may not, like, authentically, but the Texasification of the, like, broader South. Listen, if it's cowboy hat country, they have the bull riding things. And I've been to Nashville. I saw the damn machines. It's good. I like it.
I'm Afton Bain. We all know the system is rigged in Washington. Here's how it works. Politicians make it easy for their rich donors, tax cuts for billionaires, and burying the Epstein files, while hardworking Tennesseans get a rough ride by cutting health care for Tennessee families, doubling health insurance premiums, and tariffs that hurt our economy.
I think it's cute.
I'm Afton Bain, and
Also, she's wearing a nice shirt, you know, in my humble opinion. Did you see this f***ass Kamala ad? She tries to hop on the Dem win wave. Kamala ad? Oh, okay, not like a TV ad. You just mean like a clip that she posted. Okay, yeah, her. I don't care. An internal poll for the Tennessee '07 special, Afton Bain, hello, hello. Your Community PAC released an impact research survey showing Republican Matt Van Epps ahead of Afton Bain, 52 to 44. Okay. Wait, 52 to 44 is pretty good. Tennessee 7 was Trump plus 22 in 2024. Special uphill fight. If things trend in the direction of Democrats' overperformance in other recent special elections, then Afton Bain has potential to be competitive against Matt Van Epps. His negatives are potent. The presence of a legitimate independent candidate significantly lowers the threshold needed for Ben to win. At the very least, Ben looks poised to overperform and add to the narrative that Democrats will be able to compete everywhere in 2026. That's huge. That's huge. Yeah, 100%. This will encourage more funding and resources in Tennessee. Yeah, as we should. Democrats have been really bad about this, like, historically. They give up on states as soon as they're not, like, safe blue. Or they'll, like, Democrats will invest in the swing states, you know, the blue wall, Pennsylvania, whatever the Arizona, but they don't put money into states that could be won with a little bit more effort. You know, they're very, like, by the books, which is the whole Democratic Party, right? The race is currently a toss-up among extremely motivated voters. 48% Ben, 50% Van Epps. We'll see. One of the actual good things Ken Martin has done is bring back funding for red state Dem parties. Yes. I've read about that. For sure. Has to do something good. I don't understand how the black belt states say so consistently red. Look, man, there are more white people than black people. The black people in those states vote Democrat, but the white people in those states vote very, 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 very Republican. So, simple as. Also, gerrymandering. Yeah, but even if there wasn't gerrymandering, like, you can still look at the presidential vote totals. It's not just gerrymandering. It's also just extreme racial polarization. Of course, it's good when people are racially polarized in favor of good things. So we're not discrediting the efforts of, you know, Southern black folk. But if you're being racially polarized towards racism, if you're being racially polarized towards anti-racism, okay, I don't know. I think that's pretty good, to be honest with you, in my humble opinion. Here, I'll look at the Kamala Harris bit where she's taking credit or whatever.
On the campaign, I would often say, when we fight, we win.
As demonstrated by my campaign, where I neither fought nor won. So there you go. Lesson learned, right?
But here's the thing. Sometimes the fight takes a while. That doesn't mean we won't win. The important
You didn't win. You famously didn't win.
thing is don't ever give up. Don't ever stop trying to make the world a better place. And don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible because it has never been done before.
That was so inspiring. Jarvis, clean up my pants. I hate her. You know she's going to run again. Vile woman. Yep, but unfortunately, a lot of Democrats like her. A lot of Democrats like Gavin Newsom. This is why I think like AOC and Bernie Sanders, and to an extent Mamdani, though he's in a different position because he's fighting for like heavy stakes right now. We need to start turning the pressure up on pointing out how bad these moderate Democrats are. You know, you can't, if you are a fan of what AOC and Mamdani and so on represent, you can't be a fan of Governor Newsom or of Kamala Harris. You just can't. You can't. It's an inconsistency. It doesn't make any sense. They represent a rejection of a certain way of doing things that the other two that I mentioned are mired in. They're entrenched in it, you know? They're deep state cronies. They don't believe in anything. They don't care about anything. They walk back their positions the moment a consultant tells them to, completely beholden to corporate interests. Yeah, age aside, and speaking of her departure, like Pelosi at least believes in something. She does dislike Republicans. People bullshit that with Gavin Newsom. They're like, yeah, he's a real hater. Is he? Was he a real hater when he was going down on Charlie Kirk's sloppy style on his podcast? Yes, you have such good positions on trans people. Was that hater talk right there? No, I don't think so. Nancy Pelosi actually does hate Republicans, though, so credit to her on that. But the insider trading? Honest to God, like, insider trading's really bad, but I would rather have an effective Democrat who insider trades than an ineffective Democrat who doesn't. Unfortunately, right now we're caught with the worst of both worlds, which is ineffective Democrats who do insider trading. She helped get Biden to retire at least? Yeah. I mean, didn't end up working, but I suppose it was still important. She still does that. We need a strong Republican Party, Aaron Sorkin bullshit. She does. 100% she does. Yeah. Would you take an effective Democrat who is massively pro-Israel? I think that's an oxymoron. I think that your handling on Israel is like a litmus test for your legitimacy as a candidate. I couldn't imagine a candidate who was a good Democrat who was also pro-Israel. Not, mind you, just because of Israel. Even if you ignored everything involving Israel and Palestine, being pro-Israel suggests that you're compromised on so many other positions, because it's a position that you could only arrive at if you were deeply, deeply beholden to certain special interests, you know? No one authentically, independently gets into politics, has a broad set of progressive positions, but is also pro-Israel. That is a bought position. This is why we like some of the things AOC does, but don't stand her. No, listen, I just think AOC is kind of weak and doesn't know what to do now that she's in power. I don't think she's pro-Israel. I just think that, like, AOC, it's so important right now for AOC, who's one of the most popular, like, biggest public followings of anyone in Washington, for her to use that popularity to direct people against moderate Democrats. It's huge, very important. It's essential. She needs to be a Mamdani ally. She is. They're unambiguously allies. But, like, the attention needs to be drawn. Because what is the point of all of this if we then get forced into a position where like the mainstream media and the Democratic Party are all frontlining moderate shitlibs in 2028? What are you going to do when the primary list rolls around and it actually is like Pete Buttigieg, Gavin Newsom, and Kamala Harris? What are you going to do? Like, okay, I guess all of that momentum and work that was built over the past couple of years means nothing, because even if they do win, they will not fix a single thing, and every problem that they took on in office will immediately reemerge the moment they leave. And the Republicans will win the next 3 elections or whatever. Who's your 2028 hopeful pick right now? I don't have one. There is no good presidential candidate for 2028. None. No one who is positioned to take up that mantle. We do have time, thankfully, but right now there are none. What do we do if we get there and there's no good candidates? Jerk it crazy style? I don't know. Are you God? What are you supposed to do about it? Plattner should get a Punisher skull tattoo on his face and then run for Prez. Yeah, he can get like an eye, but the pupil really looks like a Sonengrad, and then he gets really defensive when people point it out, and then he hastily covers it up with I don't know. He already did the Celtic wolf tattoo. What's the next? I have what would the next, like, what's one tier down the Nazi symbolism hierarchy from that? Thor's hammer, yeah. Deranged prediction, Loomer will run in 2028, get the RNC ticket. I'm rooting for her. As we know, women can't win the presidency, so position us well. When did the Celtic wolf become Nazi affiliated? I thought they were into Norse stuff. They're into like a big hodgepodge of esoteric, white adjacent mysticism. It's incoherent. There's nothing meaningful there, you know. Excuse me. Plattner calling out people mourning for Cheney, so based.
Hey everyone, Graham Plattner here. Usually when a former vice president
people.
passes, we all take some time to mourn. As a veteran of the Iraq War, I'm going to say, no, not this time. Over the next couple days, I'm sure there are going to be thousands of think pieces written about his legacy, but the only legacy that we have to remember is that he wasted thousands of young American lives, hundreds of thousands of Iraqi lives, and trillions of dollars for absolutely nothing. If we take anything away from this...
Yeah, that's true. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris posted about what a good public servant Cheney was, you know? I think that's a great litmus test. If you're asked about Cheney and your response isn't contemptuous, I don't see how you can be a Democrat. Isn't it insane that that's like a contentious line you have to draw? No, I do not think the Democratic presidential primary candidate should praise Dick Cheney. I really don't think that's a hard line to draw, man. Like he's hated for one. It's not even a matter of like political expedience. He's hated by everyone. Nobody today likes Dick Cheney. Republicans don't talk positively about him. Democrats don't talk positively about him. Nobody likes him. Nobody. There's no demographic you're cynically appealing to. And Kamala Harris still saw that and was like, yep, time for me to praise him. It's deep state allegiance, man. It's a big club and you're not in it, you know? Seriously, like that's the reason why. At the end of the day, these people are more allegiant to Washington than they are to you. The idea that, you know, it's the same reason why Ford pardoned Nixon, right? No matter how much a person f***ed up, like there still has to be this inviolate. Probably the same reason, by the way, why they didn't go after Trump after J6, you know? Plattner does have a very good voice. It sounds too performative for me, to be honest with you. It sounds like a Valorant boyfriend material. Way to nail that, old babe. That was so hot. Yeah, and I think it works. Maybe for you. Maybe for a guy like you.